Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video I'd like to show you how to make my Christmas ornaments mandala. This little mandala you can for example hang in your Christmas tree as a decoration. I've also got a ribbon attached to it so you can easily hang it somewhere. I'd like to show you how to make this mandala step by step, but first let's take a look at the materials you need to make it. To make the Christmas ornament mandala, you need 3 colors of cotton yarn. This is Crochet Katona, a sport weight cotton yarn. I've got this in nice Christmas colors, and this is just yarn from my stash. A 10 centimeter diameter mandala ring, available from many craft shops, and I've also got them in my web shop. And of course a hook. I'm using a 3mm crochet hook. Let's get started with the Christmas ornaments mandala. Round 1, I'm going to start with the white yarn. Just make a slip knot and put that on my hook. I'm going to start by making a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then close in the first stitch with a slip stitch to form a ring. If you want to, you can also use a magic ring here. I just prefer the chain 4. Then if you open this up, there is the little gap which we're going to be working in. Chain 2. This does not count as a stitch. And now we're going to be working 12 double crochets in that little gap there. Just going to yarn over. Get the first one in the right place, then the rest follows. So that's 1, 2, I'm going to do 12, 2, and this is 3, 4, and 12. So 12 doubles here in the ring. And now we're going to close on the first stitch with a slip stitch. Now here is the chain 2, so that's the first 2. And then come here to the stitch there. Just close in there with a slip stitch. And now leave your yarn attached for the next round. Round 2, I'm going to continue with the same color. Start with a chain 2. This is your first half double. This counts as a half double. Now we make another chain 2. This counts as a space. And now we're going to do the repeats. That's going to be a half double in every stitch and chain 2s in between. So come to the next stitch. So this is where you're currently in, there. And come to the next stitch. And work a half double, and then chain 2 and a half double, chain 2, and you're going to repeat this until you're all the way around. Then you'll have 12 half doubles, which of course also includes that starting chain 2. Just going to make another jump in the video. Chain 2, I've got the last half double to do there in that stitch. That's the last stitch. Half double number 12, chain 2, 1, 2, and now come to the first stitch, which is in this case that chain 2. So here's that beginning chain 2 there. And close in there with a slip stitch. At this point you can cut your yarn, fasten off. And I'm just going to fasten this off by actually putting a little knot in here. There we go. Because then I know it's nice and secure. So those were the first 2 rounds. For round 3 we're going to work surface slip stitches over the doubles here from round 1, so over those stitches there. Now what's important is we're going to be doing this two times, so we're going to work one round and then we're going to do that again. So when placing these, make sure that you just place them a little bit inward so that you've got space on the outside to do another round. Now, so between any two stitches, so just open up your work, but just poke your hook in there and then grab the yarn from the back. And now between the next two stitches, insert your hook and grab your working yarn, and then we're going to work slip stitches. And then the next one. And see, I'm just working a little bit inward so that there's still space on the outer edge there to work another round. Because we're going to place two rounds of slip stitches. And this just gives a nice little decorative edge to your work. So you're going to have 12 slip stitches, and by the time and there's of course going to be a chain 2 in there, so one stitch will have the chain 2 and the half double, or the double I should say, so don't worry about that. So I'm just working all these slip stitches by poking my hook between two stitches. And I'm actually going a little bit outward, so I'm just going to push those slip stitches back in when I've finished. There we go. I'll show you what I mean by that. I've got all the way around. I'm just going to cut my yarn because I want to close this with an invisible join. So open this loop up, and then thread the yarn tail on a needle. The first stitch worked. Go underneath both of those loops and then come back to the last stitch worked there from the top. Insert that needle through the needle here to the back, and that closes this stitch here. And what I just like to do in this case at least is just tie a little knot here, because with these slip stitches that gives the neatest effect. And then I like to work away through those loops. But what I'm first going to do is I'm just going to push these loops a little bit inward. So I'm just going to push them a little bit inward so that on the outside edge there's room for another round of slip stitches. So you can see I'm just pushing them inward with my nail, pulling the yarn a bit. You can see already there are much more in already. So just fiddle this a little bit. There we go. And now I've got room for another round, so I'm going to do another round of slip stitches. Round 4, so with my other color, so this is my Christmas green, I'm going to work another round of slip stitches, and we're going to do exactly the same. And I've still got the yarn tails here to the back. I'll work them away in the next round. Insert your hook again between the stitches and pull up that green yarn. There we go. And now we're again going to work slip stitches. So come to the next position. And there we go. And you can see now, because we've pushed those first stitches in, we've now got enough space to place these stitches. There we go. So just push your hook in basically next to where that first round of stitches is. And here to the back, make sure you don't snag anything else. And we just go all the way around. And then we're again going to close with an invisible join in the same way. Do I have anything extra? Yeah, I do, but that should be fine. So before I continue, I'm just going to work away all those yarn tails. Just make it a little bit more easier to work with. And there we go. So I've got one stitch left, and that's the one we do with an invisible join. Cut your yarn, open up. You can see that nice little edge there. and thread it on my needle again. There we go. I just want to pull that starting yarn tail a little bit because I feel that that loop is a bit too big. There we go. And then come back to the last stitch worked and push the needle to the back. There we go. And now I've got 2 rounds of slip stitches in there, and that's exactly what I want. I'm going to work away all these yarn tails, and then we're going to continue with popcorns. Round 5, new color yarn on my hook, Christmas red, and in this round we're going to be working a popcorn in every chain space and chain 3s in between. Now the first popcorn is going to be a standing one. So with the yarn on my hook, just yarn over and hold on to that, and we start by working 5 doubles in any chain space. That's for the standing popcorn. So that's the first double, and 2, 3, 4, 5 doubles. Open up this loop and come back to the first stitch. Insert your hook in there, pick the loop back up, close that loop and pull your working loop through the first stitch. Chain 1, that completes the popcorn. And now a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So that means you've got 4 chains here next to one another, where the first one still belongs to the popcorn. The repeat is a popcorn in the chain 2 space, so I'll show you the repeat. So that's 5 doubles is what we start with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doubles, open up the loop, come back to that first stitch, there, that first double, pick up the loop and pull it through the first stitch, chain 1 to complete the popcorn, and now chain 3, 2, 3. There we go. This was the repeat. Do this all the way around, and after you've done your last popcorn, you're going to do a chain 3 and then close here on the first stitch. Now I'll just show you where that is. If you just pull your yarn tail, you see that little gap there? Yeah, close in here with a slip stitch, and then you can also fasten off. Round 6, we're going to work in the white again. We're going to be working front post singles around the popcorn and V-stitches into the stitches from round 2. So start in any position you want. I'm going to start with a standing front post single. That means simply scooping the popcorn, grab your yarn and work a single crochet around the popcorn. See how you're pinching that popcorn together. Now we're going to come to the half double here from round 2, and we work a V-stitch in there. So that means yarn over, going to work a double, and you might have to just open it up a little bit to just find that stitch. And be sure to stay away from the chain space here to keep that to the back. So that's the double, chain 2, and now a double in the same position, the same stitch. The repeat is in essence the same. Around the popcorn work a half double, a front post half double, so sorry, a front post single, scoop the stitch, there we go, and then here in the half double work a V-stitch. So that's a double, and this happens to be the chain 2, that starting chain 2, so I'm just going to insert my hook into that chain space there. double, chain 2, and another double, and again stay away from the chain space to the back. There we go. And I'll just do another one, and you go like this all the way around the popcorn. Work a front post single, and then here is a half double in that stitch. Work a double, chain 2, and another double. Repeat this all the way around, and when you get here to the beginning, close on that standing stitch. So here the standing single there. It is a little small here, so you're just going to have to open up that stitch there, close there with a slip stitch, and then you can also fasten off. Round 7. In this round we're going to be working popcorns again, and we're going to be working them in the chain 2 spaces from the V stitches, so in there, and at the same time also the chain space from round 5, so we're going to be covering them together, so we're going to be working over those chain spaces together. I'm going to start again with a standing popcorn, so in any chain space from the V stitch, doesn't matter where you start. I'm just going to take this one, I'm going to start with the standing double to start the popcorn. So I've got here the chain space from the V stitch, and then I also grab the chain space to the back from round 5, and then work that double. So that's the first double. And I need 4 more. 2, 3, 4, and 5 in total. So I've got 5 doubles. Open up and come to that first stitch. Pull through. So this is the same way we've done the popcorn before, and then a chain 1 to close the popcorn. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means you've got 5 chains again next to one another. And then come to the next V stitch here, and again we work a popcorn in there. So yarn over to start the double, and then also take that chain space here from the back, also take that one. And then that's the first double, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 doubles. Open up, come to this first stitch, bring the working loop back, and pull through. Chain 1, that completes the popcorn, and then another chain 4. There you go. And that's the full repeat. Well, repeat this all the way around, and when you come here after you've done your last popcorn in there, chain 4, and then close here again on this standing popcorn, so there, close on there with a slip stitch and fasten off. Round 8, last round before we join to the ring. Got the whites on my yarn again, and we're going to start with the standing front post single around any popcorn. So this is the same as we've done before. So around the popcorn, a front post single. Now come to the chain space and work 2 singles in here. 1, 2. Going to come down and work a double crochet in the front post single from round 6. So in there, and while you do so, be sure to stay in front of the chain space. There you go. And now come back up and work in the same space 2 more singles. 1 and 2. And this is the idea that we're going to be repeating. So I'll show you the repeat. Around the popcorn, a front post single. In the chain space, 2 singles. 1, 2. We work a double in the front post single from round 6 and stay in front of the chain space, and then 2 more singles here to the back. 1 and 2. There we go. So that's the repeat. Continue like this all the way around, and when you get to the beginning, so you're going to work in those last 2 singles, close on that first stitch with a slip stitch and leave your yarn attached. Last thing to do is to join this mandala to the 10 centimeter ring. At this moment you'll notice it wobbles just a little bit. It might even cup for you. So just pull it a little bit so that it becomes a little flatter, because that'll help to just get it into shape. And what you'll also notice is that it should be smaller than the ring it's going in. So my mandala is about 9 centimeters, so just slightly smaller than the 10 centimeter ring. And now we're ready to join it to the ring. If you still have a whole lot of yarn tails here to the back, this is also a good moment to work them away before attaching it to the ring, because it's easier when you can still fold the fabric then after it's been put in the ring. So I'll just show you how to join this. To join to the ring, I'm going to work a single crochet 2 together over the current stitch, the next stitch and the ring. So we're currently in this first stitch here, this standing standing front post single. So insert your hook in there. Underneath the ring, pick up the loop. Then come to the next stitch, insert your hook, pick up the loop from underneath the ring. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and take them off. And that's what we're going to be repeating. So the current stitch, that's where we're currently in. Maybe I'll just zoom in a little bit more so that you can just see even better. So the current stitch, pick up a loop, the next stitch, pick up a loop, and you're working under the ring and then take them all off. And this you're repeating all the way around. And then the next stitch and complete the stitch. So I'll tell you once more, the current stitch, so that's where you finished, the current stitch and the next stitch and complete this single 2 together. And what this does is it covers the ring really nicely, because you just got those extra loops there. So continue like this all the way around, and what you'll be doing in the process is you'll be stretching the mandala just a little bit into this ring. So I'm just going to continue all the way around, and when you're back at the beginning I'll just show you how to fasten off. All the way around, that last stitch is really difficult to do, so I'm actually not going to do that last stitch because it's here in the join, and I'm just not going to do that. That's just too much of a fuss. I'm just going to cut my yarn and open up, and then close this with an invisible join, and then that will also prevent any gaps or anything. So I've got here the first stitch. I'm just going to insert my needle under there. Pull that really tight so that you can really close that gap. Come to the last stitch worked and insert the yarn through, and then that closes this stitch really nicely. And then here at the back, I'm just going to weave this in here below. So I'm just going to weave this in 2 times and do that with the same with the other yarn tail, and then we're just about finished. And that completes the crochet part of the mandala. If you want to, I've got here, you can attach a ribbon to the mandala so you can easily hang it in, for example, your Christmas tree. So in any position, it really doesn't matter, because wherever you think, oh, that's a good point. I'm just going to use my hook to just pull this ribbon through one of the stitches, because this is maybe a bit more tricky, because this is quite a broad ribbon. So there we go. Yes, so I've got it through, and give this a little knot or a bow, or however you want to do that, and then it's perfect and ready to hang in your Christmas tree, or against a door, or any place that you think, oh, there it looks pretty. I want to thank you for watching. It brings us to the end of this instruction video. I hope you enjoy making a little Christmas ornament mandala of your own. If you do, please tag me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, so I can see your lovely little mandalas. I hope you have a blessed Christmas.